can see the documentation of the State Department. On top of the list, we see Tirana. So perhaps as much as 30% of their revenue, that needs to be cut because that's where there were 5 Iran regime diplomats.
And my name is Ali Safavi, and I'm a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Our news briefing today will focus on the role of the Iranian regime's Ministry of Intelligence and Security and Tehran's embassies in hatching and carrying out terror and espionage operations. We believe that the Iranian regime's embassies and consulates, which act as hubs for terrorism and espionage, must be shut down. Those who work under the veneer of diplomats are not really diplomats. They are senior intelligence ministry officials, like in Albania, where the ambassador was expelled. He was the directorate of the Ministry of Intelligence for all of Europe. And the same is true for the person who was arrested in Belgium, who led the plot against the NCRI rally in Paris. He was also the station chief for the Ministry of Intelligence in Europe. So I think the next step should be to close down the Iranian embassies and consulates throughout Europe and expel Iranian regime's diplomats.
Thank you all for coming to our office in Washington. My name is Aideza Jafarzadeh. So the focus of our presentation is really on the new report that we've been working on for months and months, and finally we got it ready. It's in the form of a book. It's called Iran's Emissaries of Terror, Operation of the Iranian Regime, and how the Ministry of Intelligence and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and on top of it, the Supreme Leader are involved in terrorism. Under the supervision of Mir Hijazi, after he gets the full approval of Supreme Leader Khamenei. And on top of it, the agencies involved, the Supreme National Security Council, always headed by the President. This time it's Rouhani.
We had a press conference today to expose the entire terror network of the Iranian regime, that on top of it, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is the chief organizer of all of these terrorist activities. They have a number of agencies who execute these plans. The top agency is the Ministry of Intelligence, MIS, which was involved in a whole host of terror operations in Europe and also in the United States. Also, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the embassies have been the major collaborators and facilitators of these terror operations. So we talked about those, and we showed the collaboration between the Revolutionary Guards and the Ministry of Intelligence, how they work hand in hand.
There was a big fight between Ahmadinejad and Khamenei. That Khamenei doesn't want someone as intelligence minister. That person doesn't become spying on the officials of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, and part of
what Ali Reza didn't mention is in that affidavit at the U.S. District Court of the U.S. District Court in the district, and that's the argument against sanctions. It's the argument for appeasement, and it's also the argument for getting back in the JCPOA. That if you there's no alternative to negotiating
Europe and the United States, and try to get Europe on their side when it comes to sanctions by the German government. Another case in Italy, the assassination of the from smaller towns from Mashhad, it spread to smaller cities, expanded everywhere. It got the truck drivers involved. They protested, got them strike in over 300 cities.